Welcome back to Mike's Bar and Grill in Berea. Continuing our Athletics Roadshow tonight with Jordan Hill, our track coach here at Baldwin Wallace. Hard to believe it's been a while now. This is your fifth season, right?
Fourth
season.
Yes.
You know, the COVID thing always throws it off for me.
Yeah, it does.
One of these days I'll count them straight.
Yeah, 4 years, so very exciting.
It's amazing how fast time flies, and you guys have had a lot of success as a program. I know you're getting started here with the indoor portion of your schedule, coming off of, as a program, I think, a great cross-country season. Why don't we maybe start there and the momentum that you guys feel like you're taking from the fall and into the wintertime?
Yeah, I would say our cross-country teams did an awesome job this past season. We're incredibly young across the board, from the distance crew to our sprinters, throwers, everybody. So it was really nice to see a lot of growth and improvement from our distance runners through the cross-country season. And while they were going through that, our tracksters were working really hard during fall training. And the growth that we have seen in just that fall training piece alone was huge, and really got to see that come to life this past weekend at our first meet at Otterbein. So that was really exciting.
I have to imagine that, your sport, because of the timing, how do I say this? The fact that it doesn't really ever feel like it has an off season, right? I feel like COVID had probably impacted track and field maybe more than any other sport, because you're training and you're training and you're training, and you don't really know when you're going to compete again. And that was certainly tough on student athletes across the board, but it started right at the beginning. COVID at the beginning anyways was literally the day of the D3 national indoor meet. Yeah. And I know this year's national meet is back at the same site down in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. How do you try to encapsulate everything you guys have been through the last 2 years here?
We talk a lot about getting back to our why and why we started doing the sport to begin with, and just kind of enjoying the process. Track is a really beautiful sport in that I don't think you truly ever peak. It's one of those things that you can always keep working. You can always keep improving. It doesn't matter what PR you hit. You can always go a little bit faster, or throw a little bit further, or jump a little bit higher. You know that you can always keep working and improving on yourself. And so we just kind of, through COVID, like I said, just kind of focused on getting back to our why, enjoying the process, figuring out why we're still here, and the reasons that we came to this place to begin with, and just enjoying the process all around. And so even though we go back to Winston-Salem in March for the national meet, we're expecting some different results this time around, but we're really excited to get there again.
A chance to compete would be great.
Yeah, and we will get that chance, trust me. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. The timing, for those that don't know, the timing of it last time around was just awful. All the teams had arrived. I mean, literally everybody was there, went through their you were there, right?
Day prior. I was on my way down.
Yeah.
I just remember the devastation from all these teams saying, like, hey, the meet starts tomorrow, we're here, we're ready to go, and then it didn't.
Yeah.
And because of the fact that there was no winter championship for any sport last year, I think there's that much more build-up this year, and reasons for these young athletes to try to keep achieving their best and make a push to get down there. I know you've got a young team, but if you could try to maybe forecast a little bit some of the success that you're hoping to see. Who are some of the athletes, let's start on the ladies' side, that you think folks might be interested in hearing about?
Yeah, so I think we have some upperclassmen and some experienced athletes that we're going to rely on. Senior Alyssa Lochner, she's going to be leading the distance crew for us. Her and Hope Murphy, I imagine, are going to do some pretty big things for us. On the throw side, we're going to be looking at Abby Rodriguez and Selena Shelley. Selena's only a sophomore, but she's one of our more experienced throwers at this point, and Abby is a junior. I think we're going to see some pretty big leadership from them in the rings. And then on the sprint side, again, very, very young, but I think we can see a lot coming out of a freshman group that we have working with the sprinters. So Abby Collier, Sam Varga, there's many, many more that I can expect to see a lot from.
Awesome. The season got started this past weekend down at Otterbein. An unscored meet, a chance to compete against somebody other than your own teammates, which is always a welcome sight this time of year. What did you most learn about the team this past weekend?
They are very, very gritty.
I like that.
Yeah. We saw everybody competing really, really hard, and that's what I wanted to see the most out of this group. It's just getting that experience with the competition. Like I said, we are very heavy on the sophomores and freshmen, so for them just to get more experience competing, and for a lot of these athletes, this was their first college meet. I want to put a spotlight on the 4x2 for a second because they were really fun to watch. They had a great lead in that race, and then going into our second handoff, one of the runners fell exchanging the baton, but they were pros. I mean, they were all freshmen runners running this relay, and our third runner just picked it up and like it was nothing and ran one of the teams down and handed off to Abby Collier, who I mentioned earlier. And Abby ran the other team down, and they took the win for that race. And just so for a group of freshmen to have that experience and something going wrong in a relay, but making the most of it and not giving up and just fighting until the very end is huge. And so just seeing that grittiness from the team, just seeing them compete really, really hard, that's going to be huge for them come later in the season.
I can see a couple years from now when those freshmen are upperclassmen and they're winning conference titles in that race, and you're remembering back to meet number one, race number one for them. That's really cool. How about on the guys' side? We've talked a little bit about the ladies here, kind of transition over. Again, I know it's a young team, but your expectations and your hopes for the guys.
Yeah, I think the men are probably even younger than our women. But they are coming together really nicely. They have a lot of competitive spirit in them as well. So it's really fun just to watch them come together. I think the biggest thing for them is relying on each other and pushing each other. And I think that they are really lucky that they have the team that they have around them to help push them every single day, and challenge each other and work with each other, because that really translates into their performances.
How about when you start thinking about the way the OAC could shake out this year? You guys aren't that far away, far removed from a national championship within your own program. Mount Union has had a really, really good, program now for a few years. John Carroll has had a couple of guys in particular succeed at a really high level. Ohio Northern's got a ridiculously impressive history, and I know they compete hard. I mean, this feels like a loaded league all the time. And I know that's part of what you guys look forward to is that high level of competition to get ready for national championship type meets. But, if there's any specifics that you can share, what do you expect from the league this year?
Yeah, it's always humbling being part of the OAC just because of the level that you just spoke of. So I would just say anytime we see the OAC, especially when we get to the championship meet, it's always a great experience for our athletes. It's something that you can't take for granted. The conference meet is always crazy, and I think that's something that sets our sport apart from others, is because we don't rely on regular season performances or a record to determine, champions. It's all about that 2-day meet. Anything that we do between now and end of February really doesn't matter for the conference. It really just comes down to, those 2 days at the conference championship meet. It's a winner takes all kind of thing. So that's why I think our conference has to be so great, because if you're going to win that title, I mean, you have to have everybody come together. Everybody has to have their best day, and you really need to rely on your teammates to get the job done. So it's just really fun to be around it. Like I said, it's really competitive. It's humbling to be a part of, because anybody who's placing in the top, 3 in their event at the conference meet, they're probably going to the national championships.
Highly likely. It's been the case time and time again over the last few years in particular. Because this team is so young, I guess I'm curious about the recruiting angle. It's an individual sport in a lot of ways, and so everybody is picking and choosing where they want to go to school for their own individual reasons. But were you finding common threads between different groups or clusters of kids that were all choosing to come to BW?
Yeah, I think this is a great recruiting tool for us. I know for me, when I decided to come to BW a little while ago.
But not that long ago.
Yeah. I came into a situation where I had, upperclassmen who were conference champions, who were national qualifiers. and they were awesome leaders for me and kind of took me under their wing. And for recruits now, they're going to be experiencing the same thing because our freshmen and sophomores now, they're going to be the juniors and seniors for the incoming recruits that we are talking to now. And so that's a huge selling point for us, is because they know that, their teammates aren't, they're not seniors right now. So by the time that they come to BW, those people are going to be gone. These are going to be their teammates now. And so they know that they're going to have, the sophomores, juniors, some seniors that are going to be their training partners, their teammates, people who are going to support them and challenge them every single day in practice. So I think that's huge for our recruits because they know that they're going to have a really good situation coming in.
How about the relationship that you guys have as a staff? I don't think people really realize, if they're not track and field junkies, I don't think people really realize how challenging it can be to have a few people running a cross-country program and a track team that competes indoor and outdoor, the amount of time and energy that you guys put into it, but frankly the cohesion that you need to have, because when it really feels like a 24/7 365 kind of job, you really have to be pulling the rope in the same direction, and given your success as a program, it certainly feels like, from the outside looking in, that you guys do that really well.
Yeah, I think what's great about our coaching staff is that we respect each other as individual coaches, and we give each other the freedom to coach the way that we need to coach our athletes. And I learn a lot from all of our coaches on staff. I have nothing but respect for them, and we're all trying to do the same thing. But again, I think what's cool is that we give each other room to do those same things in our own unique way. Coaching is an art, and so it's really fun to celebrate our individuality as coaches. And like you said, we have to have that cohesion too. We spend a lot of time together, and it's nice to enjoy each other's company. I mean, Friday night before our first meet, we all got dinner together, and we went over to Coach Evie's house and just had, dinner together and spent a couple hours together just socializing and just enjoying each other's company before the meet, which is really special because we spend enough time together as it is. But it's nice knowing that we also enjoy each other outside of work too. I think that's really important. But I think we are successful as a staff is because we allow each other, the freedom and room to coach our athletes the way that we need to, and it works out really nicely because obviously we bring out the best in our athletes.
It certainly seems that way based on the high-level results that you guys have put out. Just a couple of quick things for folks that are looking to follow along with the team this year. Certainly, BWYellowJackets.com has all the latest for schedules and results, but a couple of home meets this year, including January 29th coming up this weekend, and on Friday, February 11th, that'll be the mid-February meet. The team also competes in Oberlin. They'll be back down at Otterbein on Saturday the 12th. A chance to compete crosstown over Case Western Reserve. That's coming up February 18th. The OAC indoor meet is at Mount Union this year. That's the last weekend in February. They'll have a couple of last chance qualifiers. Ohio Northern and Tufts up in Massachusetts are hosting those the first weekend in March, and then down to the JDL Fast Track in Winston-Salem for the national championships Friday and Saturday, March 11th and 12th. I know it just took a little while to run through that, but it is going to go fast. It always goes fast in the indoor season. Mm-hmm. Wishing you all the best. Thanks for spending some time. I hope it's a really fun and lengthy, successful year with no layoff between the winter and the spring seasons.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right, Jordan Hill, our track and field coach here at BW.